Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping in today. I'm back with a new layout for Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2020 December kits. And right away I was drawn to this beautiful exclusive watercolor striped paper. I just thought it was so pretty, and I wanted to use this as part of my background. And I have a color photo of me and my husband from about a year ago. We were getting ready to fly away to a little vacation, and I'm going to make it work for this page. Now, when I have a beautiful paper like this, I don't want to use the entire thing as the background. So what do? I rip it up. Yeah, I know. It always hurts my heart to rip and tear a beautiful paper like that. But I know that I don't want to use it as a full background, but I do want to make a big chunk of it part of the background. So I like to rip and tear and just kind of make a big chunk of it as part of the background. And I realized right away that I didn't tear enough like I liked, so I just tore a second strip, and we're going to make sort of a rough layered look here. I hadn't even planned on doing this, but I actually like how it looks. It gives it some more interest and some texture. And this is why I like tearing papers. I like the edges to be uneven and weathered, and I like it. I like it rather than having it perfectly straight. Some things I like perfectly straight, but I think this just kind of adds to the messy factor of the background, and I like it. And I can rip up the edges. I can kind of curl them like I'm doing there, and yeah, I like how that looks. And you can kind of see a little bit of what's on the back of the paper too, which I think is a dark navy color. So this is where I'm going to start. So now I kind of have half of a pattern paper and then half white. So I'm going to do a lot of mixed media on the white side, and that's just thick, smooth white cardstock that I am using here to glue this pattern paper onto. And this is clear gesso that I'm using. This is the Finnabair Art Basics, and I'm using a 2-inch silicone brush to scrape it on. And this is just going to prep the paper for anything that I go to add to it that's got water, and it's going to allow me to let the colors run and blend and not soak right through the paper. So I got that done, and I want to start to kind of work with the photo first. I want to make sure I know where that's going to go, and I want to see what embellishments I want to use, because I'm not sold yet on what color I want to add to the background. So I'm going to go ahead and work on layering up the photo here. I'm going to add some tissue paper behind it. I'm going to play around with some of the 3x4 pocket life cards. I am going to pop the photo up with a little bit of adhesive foam to give it a little bit of lift off of the page. And yeah, there's a lot of exclusives again this month. I love the color scheme. I love that pop of pink and then that reddish color with some orange and some navy, some lighter blues, just a really pretty variety of colors. So I'm trying to pick anything that matches this pattern paper that I've got going here. So I'm looking for anything in the lighter blue family, anything white, anything that's got that light, soft, peachy color. I found a couple of chipboard frames here that I'm going to try to maybe use as layers. And I thought I might try some navy blue too, since my husband's jacket is navy blue. So I've got a pop of that in the layout already, so I thought maybe I would look for some embellishments with that color. And I like to use frames as layers. I like to kind of tuck them in under the photo like that to kind of give some pops of color and interest around the edges of the picture. And this is all just experimenting here. I'm not sure that this is all going to stay. I just wanted to kind of get an idea of what I was going to do before I started adding color to the background. And I did peel off the sticky paper of those frames because they're very sticky, and I'm definitely not ready to stick anything down, so I like to peel the sticky part off so I can glue it down later. I really liked that lined 3x4 card, so I'm going to rip a piece of that off to kind of echo the rips that I did earlier. And then I really love these puffy stars, and there's a lot of those on this little sticker sheet here that match the background. And I thought that I might try to embellish tone on tone, which means basically I'm going to add all blue stuff to the blue section and then all peachy stuff to the peachy section. And I do kind of adhere to that, but I do mix and match a little bit too. So I'm going to add another layer behind the photo here, and this is a cardstock. It's a dark teal color that we get in the cardstock kit. I almost used that as my background instead of the white, but I decided to go with the white in the end because I didn't want to overload the teal color. So I thought I would just use it in little bits like this as a layer behind the photo. And then I do really like these frames, so I'm going to go ahead and glue those down so they're adhered to the photo. And since you can't see half of the frames, I'm going to go ahead and cut that half off so I can use that on another project. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down, and I like that. I just think it gives a little something extra behind the photo there and creates some interest. And yeah, I do want to use all of these little pieces that I have, but I want to, you know, definitely start working on the mixed media before I glue anything down. So we get 3 colors of shimmers this month, and I'm going to use the blue color. It's called Oaky Bear Blue, and it's in Inklings. And it is definitely a different shade of blue than the blue that's in this paper. And you'll see here what I'm talking about once I stick it on the page. It's more of a, I don't know, steely grayish blue color. Definitely not the blue in the paper. So what I'm going to do is mix and match. I pulled out one of the green Lindy sprays. I think it's Mad Hatter Mint. We got that a long time ago, and it's definitely a green color. So I'm going to mix that with the Oaky Bear Blue, and it's going to give me just the right color to match the shades of lighter greenish bluish that's in this pattern paper. And I thought that I would go with that color since I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like that was the better color to go with than the peach. I was just feeling blue. I was feeling bluish greenish, so that's what I went with. Because we do get 2 other colors this month. We get another Inklings called Naughty or Nice, and it's more of a reddish coralish color, and I think that if you were to water it down, mix it and match it, it would match more of that peachy color, but I didn't use that on this layout. And then we get another shimmers called Christmas Cheer, which is a very glittery golden yellow color, which I will be using those colors in future layouts this month. But so you can kind of see what I've got going here. I wanted this mixture of blue and green to kind of fan out from behind the photo to the right. So that's where I'm going to start. And then I debated about whether to add any to the pattern paper side, and I decided against it because this paper is so pretty on its own. It didn't need anything else. So all I did to jazz that up was add some white splatters. I feel like I've been doing this on every layout lately. I just love doing it. It's so fun and easy, and I love the look of white splatters. It's just white acrylic paint. I keep a little bottle of cheap white acrylic craft paint here on my desk, and I just squirt a little bit of it on my desk, and then wet my brush to add a little bit of water to it to make it a little thinner, and then just splatter. And I feel like that's the perfect color to add to this pattern paper because it's soft and light, and it's not taking away from the beauty of this pattern paper because, like I said, I didn't want to cover any of that up. It's just pretty on its own. But the white paper on the right is where I saved the area, you know, to do the mixed media on. And it's very subtle, but I love all the white. I think it's pretty. And yeah, that's all I'm going to do to the pattern paper side. I'm going to continue to work on the white side, and I wanted to darken up some of the blue and bring in some of that navy blue tone that's in the photo. And so I pulled out another shimmers, and we got this a long time ago, but we did get it at some point. I'd have to backtrack to tell you how long it's been, but it's called Deep Blue Sea, and it's more on the darker navy blue side. So I'm just going to use the nozzle and just add a couple of drips of this in around the edges of the photo there to kind of create some more depth. And I really like how that looks, and I think it pulls more of the colors from the photo. And it's not 100% match, you know, it's not a super dark, almost black navy, but you do get more depth with it, I think. And I am going to mix in some more of the Oaky Bear Blue with it. You know me, I can't just use one color. I have to mix. I don't know, it's just, I love to mix the colors. And so that is why I always suggest If you like mixed media, always get the color kit, because there is a high percentage that you're going to be able to pull from previous color kits to mix and match with more current color kits to get perfect colors. Because, you know, it's hard to match up mixed media colors to every single thing in every single kit. And so when you have multiple things to choose from, you can blend them together and create new colors, which I think is awesome. And that's part of the fun of experimenting, I think. So I kind of got a mess going on over there to the right, but I think it's going to turn out okay. I'm leaving it alone for now. I'm going to come back in with the embellishments, some of the chipboard, some of the clear acetate die cuts, some of those puffy stars. I just kind of see, I want to do the stars kind of on the pattern paper along the edges of the torn section there. But okay, so the background is dry. I really like how that looks. I like that there's some soft green. I like that there's some of the darker blue. And now I wanted to do some splatters, and this is a good example right here. I want to show you the difference in using gesso and not using gesso. All right, I'm going to mix those two colors together that I used first, the Oaky Bear Blue and the green spray, and I'm going to splatter here on the white section. Now remember, I used gesso on the right section because I'm going to do these splatters and then decide I don't like them. I'm going to do the same splatters on the pattern paper side where I did not use gesso. And I know it's hard to see it here, but the splatters on the left side are immediately drying right through the paper. Like, they're not moving, they're staying there for good. But the splatters on the gesso side, see here when I go to roll over it, they're there. They're not going away. I'm going to wind up right there. I just basically erased everything on the gesso side. And that's one good point about gesso, is you have time to pull something up if you don't like it. And I just felt like I did too much of the splatter, so I erased it, essentially, and then coming back in and doing some smaller splatters. But whatever you do on the non-gesso side, especially on pattern paper, it's going to just soak right through, and that's it. So yeah, just another perk of the gesso. All right, so I'm going to start to put everything back together. I really like all of these fun embellishments, just some different things. That little white chipboard arrow, I guess you could call that an arrow, that pointed piece, it says December Memories. I want to use that because this photo was taken in December. And then I'm going to use that little scalloped acetate border piece underneath the photo. And then I do decide to pull in some of the dark navy puffy stars, because like I said, I've got some dark blue going on in the photo. And I tried to mix and match the stars, but I'm going to wind up doing all the blue stars up at the top and all of the peachy stars down at the bottom, because I don't know, it was bugging me. So I wind up, you know, rearranging things quite a bit, and that's just part of the process. There's a lot of little chipboard hearts on this sticker sheet, so I tried to incorporate some of those in a few places. Different shades of blue, trying to figure out if I want to use this little die cut piece. Trying to look for things that are coral or any of those blue shades, because like I said, there's some orange and there's some of that reddish color. And yeah, that's where I'm showing you that I redid the hearts, or not the hearts, the stars. I wanted to incorporate some of the exclusive stamps somewhere on this layout, so I do a little bit of experimenting here. This is just a scrap piece of paper. It's cardstock. Pulled out one of my little cheap silver gray ink pads and one of the hearts, and decided gray isn't going to work. I was going for silver because I was feeling a silver vibe on this layout, because there are some silver alphas that I wanted to use. I wasn't feeling gold, I was feeling silver. So I pulled out the closest thing I have to a silver ink pad, which is this little cheapy one here from Michaels. And then I mix and match it with one of the ink pads that we got, I think earlier this year, from Prima, the Color Philosophy. It's the Summer Vibes Light Blue. And I thought, well, let's just mix and match these two colors and see if the blue and the gray can kind of match what I'm doing here. Then I decided to get the solid heart out, and I thought, let's make a watercolor heart. Yeah, this is just me trying things out here. I do not know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. We're just playing around. I thought, let's just water up these inks, get it on the stamp, stamp it down, and it kind of worked, but you can't really tell those are hearts. They're very messy and watery. So what I thought I would do is stamp the blue and then stamp the gray on top of it. And I like that a little bit better. Then I go back onto it after I stamp directly onto the ink pad. And I really like that because it gives like this grayish shadow around the blue. So I highly recommend just trying things out. If you don't know what you're doing, just start playing around. You know, there's no right or wrong way to use this stuff. You know, I just say, hey, let's stamp it. Let's add some water to it. Let's double stamp both colors. I don't know. You never know what kind of results you're going to get. And then I realized that that silver was not coming off my desk. Oh well, we'll have to clean it later. Good enough. So what I'm going to do is fussy cut out some of these hearts and see if I can use them somewhere. Yeah, I do wind up using a couple, but I don't use the solid ones. They just, I don't know, I couldn't make them work. I felt like they didn't really go anywhere. So I'm going to wind up using the ones on top, the one with the pattern. I'm going to use it, I don't know where yet. So I just thought, well, let's put it aside, keep building, and we'll see if we can make it work later. But yeah, that's just some ideas you could try with the stamps, you know. You don't have to stamp directly onto a background. You could make your own embellishments. Just that's why I always like to save my little scrap sheets of cardstock from the Cameo, you know, when I'm cutting die cuts. If you got any cardstock left over, save it because it's perfect for little stamps like this. And you stamp it, cut it out, and then you have your own die cut. And you could do that in any color. So many possibilities. I'm going to use some dark blue thread. I'm going to go ahead and start to add that in. I knew that I wanted to add some dark thread, especially over here to the right because there wasn't a lot of that color there. And then over to the left, I'm going to use more of a teal greenish thread. You know I got to have my thread. I just like the texture. I like how it looks. I like that it looks messy and random, and it's just, I like the pops of color, you know. Sometimes you just like something because, and there's really no logical reason why. That's me with thread. All right, so I'm ready to glue. I'm going to glue things down, and I realized that I needed to add a little bit of more adhesive foam behind the photo there since I added those adhesive, or not adhesive, dimensional frames. I wanted to make sure everything was the same height. So I added that real quick, made sure it was glued down, and then start to work on all the other little bits and pieces. And I'm liking how this is looking. I like that I added in the dark blue stars because at first I was just trying to keep everything light and go with all the light shades, but sometimes I just feel like, you know, look at your photo, and if there's a color in your photo that you can pull from to add something else on the layout, then I think sometimes that can make a big difference. And I feel like in this case, the darker blue really helped the focus stay on the photo. All right, so here are the super shiny alphas. Now this took me a while to make my title because for whatever reason the letters are not in alphabetical order. So I had to do like a Where's Waldo situation and search for all the letters. But I finally found them all. And I went with Good Times. We're going to go with Good Times as the title. And I like how these letters sort of fit. I like how they were situated here once I got them down. They just kind of nestled into each other, like Jen Scow likes to say. And then I'm going to go with these really small, tiny alphas. And so we're going to put the word celebrate at the top. And then I started singing the song, Celebrate Good Times, Come On. So I added Come On at the bottom. I'm not going to sing Kool and the Gang because it's terrible. I can't sing. But you know the song. And then I wanted to tone down some of the shine from that silver because as you can see, they are super shiny. And I like to just smudge a little bit of white gesso on top of anything metallic. It's still shiny and still metallic, but it just tones it down a little bit so it's not as glaring. And I like how that looks. And I like the color of those little alphas. There's a dark blue a dark blue sheet, and then a more of a pinkish reddish color that matches the color kit. So yeah, and there's a ton of them. Love that. So here's where I decided to use one of the hearts that I stamped. I popped it up with some foam, layered it with another little chipboard heart, and thought it fit perfectly right there in the nook of the title. So that's where that's going to go. And then I'm going to work on everything else. I'm going to make sure that there's glue behind all the little stars and all the chipboard pieces. Trying to use this little piece there, but could not make it work. So it's going to go to the side for now. Thought about adding some peach colored thread, but then I thought, no, you have enough thread. There's enough going on down here. Don't do it. But yeah. Thought about adding some thread behind that heart on the right, but then no, I didn't do it either. I felt like it just didn't need it. I wanted to leave some white space over there without too much. I do add in this star here, and I like how it looks on top of the mixed media. It's acetate, so you can see through it, but it's kind of like that turquoise aqua color. And then I wanted to add a pop of the peach over to this little heart cluster, and I didn't have a heart that was small, so I just traced one on this little pocket life card. It matches that big pattern paper, and then I just cut it out. So now I have a little pop of that peachy color here, because I felt like I needed a pop of that color in that area. And then I love this sticker sheet. Look at all the colors, all these fun phrases. I love puffy phrase stickers. That one fit perfectly right there under Come On. And then I'm going to use another one right underneath the photo. It just kind of blends in there. So this, okay, yeah, I felt like since we were going with silver, I wanted to add some silver sparkle. Now, if you got last month's color kit, then you know about the Nouveau Glimmer Paste. Well, a year ago, we got the silver. So this was in last year's Christmas kits. It's the same thing except it's silver. And I wanted to add some silver splatters, and so I thought, let's experiment again. Let's see if this will work. It probably won't, but we're going to try it. I watered some of the silver Nouveau Glimmer Paste down and thought, I'm going to try to splatter this. And I thought, it's so thick, it's probably not going to work. But guess what? It worked. It worked perfectly. I was so excited to see that this stuff splattered like it did. And when it dries, I'm going to show you up close here in a little bit. But it's basically like silver glitter sparkles on your page. So if you love the glimmer paste, you know, I've been saying stick your finger in it and smudge it on something. You can still do that. But you can also water it down and splatter it around. I was like, what? Look at this. Look at this. Yeah, you can't really see it now, but when it dries, it just basically looks like little glitter splatters. I was very excited about that. And I didn't want to waste what I had mixed up there, so I just stuck my finger in it and smudged it over some of the stars and hearts to give a little silver shimmer there. And I forget to show you here, but I will show you in a minute. I decided that I needed something over to the right. So I pulled out this little teeny tiny scalloped border punch. And as I was doing this, Paige, my youngest wild child, was over to the right trying to interrupt me. And so I stamped crooked. And or not stamped. Yep, I messed it up. Do you see that? Yep, I messed up the scallop. So here's how I fix that. I'm just going to take my little edge distresser there and scrape it and just make it look like I did it on purpose, because you know, everything else is crooked. I might as well have some crooked scallops going on. So in the end, you can't even tell. Doesn't even matter. Yeah, she was trying to like pull on my arm, which is, you know, normal for her. She likes to come in here and boss me around. That's why I call her the boss, the supervisor. But yeah, so I was trying to border punch straight there, and you can see what happened. But that's okay. So I cut a strip of the original pattern paper and glued it behind there just for a little strip of something pretty. I like how that looks. I did some silver metallic stitching along the edge there and along this little chipboard piece here and down here in the December memories and underneath that. Yep, I didn't use gold. I like the silver on this one. I still haven't showed you the glimmer paste up close. I'm about to show you because at this point I realized I forgot to do that. But I do draw in my journaling lines first because I'm going to use my silver pen. Here we go. Yeah, glimmer paste, watered down, splatters. I'm telling you, it worked great. that was my favorite part of this whole layout, was discovering that you could do that. So yeah, I'm going to try it with the clear and see what happens. But yeah, I'm using a silver metallic pen there, and I added the date. And it's done. That's the final layout. I really love how this turned out. It was a lot of fun to make, and I like that I used a big chunk of pattern paper, and you know, I just felt like it didn't need anything extra except the white splatters, because I had to do something on that side. But I kept it simple, and yeah, I really like how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it at least gave you some ideas to try. Maybe it sparked something that you've been wanting to try, maybe some mixed media, or maybe just ripping paper. I know some people always say, oh, I can never do that. Don't be afraid to rip it. Don't be afraid to tear it. It's okay. And you can also cut it. You don't have to tear it. It's all good. But yeah, when you have a pattern paper that's as beautiful as that, I just feel compelled to use a big chunk of it. I got to use it. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you in my next video.